right, everybody. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Dental Disruptors Podcast. My name is Jake Larson. This is my co-host, Clint Berry, and we have a phenomenal guest. We're super excited about this one. This is Dr. Brad Hughes, founder of Vision Dental Partners. He's a practicing dentist for a number of years. We got some really cool stuff to do. But before we dive in, I'm going to actually turn the time over to Clint real quick. He's going to kind of intro our topic. I'll share a little bit more information about Dr. Hughes, and then we'll get into our discussion. So, Clint, you want to introduce our topic for today?
Yeah, I love this topic. Our topic today is culture as a catalyst for disruption and growth in dentistry. We really believed in culture at Weave and really use it as a competitive advantage by, just having a great culture, treating our employees well. And it was just super important to us. We put a lot of thought into it at the executive team level, many, many hours on, a week on how we could make our culture better, how to focus on it. So we're really excited to talk to Dr. Hughes about this today. Jake, I'll let you introduce Dr. Hughes since you've been working with him.
Okay, yeah. So Dr. Hughes, correct me if any of this is wrong, but third generation dentist, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Graduated from Indiana University.
Yep.
Right, so you're Hoosier.
The only, yes, Indiana Hoosier.
There we go.
The only place that the home of basketball, the home of the Indy 500, the home of the Pacers up 1-0 on the Knicks, the home of sports mecca right now. Yes.
So good. And he founded Vision Dental Partners, what was it, like 6-7 years ago, now up to 10 locations in the Indiana, South Carolina area. And one of how Dr. Hughes and I got in touch is we had at Kala, we do this little industry award for operational leaders. And there were a lot, we actually had multiple people inside of Vision Dental Partners that were nominated. And we did a little spotlight on those individuals on LinkedIn, and the amount of team members and people at Vision Dental Partners that were supporting these people on LinkedIn and praising and telling the whole network on LinkedIn how awesome they were. It was just so obvious that Dr. Hughes has put a ton of work and thought into building a valuable culture, and has to be a competitive advantage for him as he's scaling Vision Dental Partners. So that's why we were so excited to have him, is because it was super transparent, the type of culture that he's built, and we want to be able to share with our audience, with people out there, some of the things that he's doing that maybe others can learn from and benefit from. So that's a little bit about Dr. Hughes. So Dr. Hughes, the first thing that Clint and I want to talk to you about is we want to get into the origin story of Vision Dental Partners. And I'm sure it doesn't just start that one day you decided to expand into other locations. Being a third generation dentist, I'm sure that this, the origins of where you're at today started a long time ago. So would you mind kind of giving us a little bit of the background of the origins of where you got your start and what motivated you to get to where you are today?
Yeah, and I appreciate that intro, by the way. It's, we do have an unbelievable team that makes me look really probably better than I should on like a daily basis. So, it'll be fun to kind of talk about them and some of the things that we're doing. But, origin story, it's funny. I think back to when I was 7-8 years old and being a third generation dentist, you can imagine when my grandfather, who was a dentist, and we're talking, he retired in 91, practiced from 54 to 91. And I can just, as clear as day, remember when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, sitting around the kitchen table with my grandfather and my dad. And my grandpa was so freaked out by the fact that my dad had hygienists in his practice. I just can't believe you'd have dental hygiene. What do you need hygiene? What are you talking about? Why do you need 2 of them? My dad's going, Dad, this is where we're at now, this is what we're doing. My dad's probably 35 at the time, 36 maybe. It's just like things progress, right? So fast forward to 2007, I graduate from IU School of Dentistry. We come out, I joined this practice in Leo, Indiana, in a suburb of Fort Wayne. It's a great practice, but I'm like, you could just instantly see, like, my dad's doing great, but there's so much more we could do. There's a little tweak here, a little tweak there. I could just feel like that entrepreneurial spirit, like, let's go do this. And, and my dad, by the way, who now is still just like, I have no idea why you want to have, a group. And I'm like, for the same reason you wanted hygienists, man. Like, things progress, things evolve. Like, so I remind him of that conversation from 30 plus years ago, like 35, almost 40 years ago, a lot. And, I think that's kind of the origin. The origin was just very early on, where I'm like, things have to keep going, things have to keep advancing. I could feel that entrepreneurial side of me going, like, let's figure out how to build this. And as we were building that, I'm like, man, I want to take what we're doing here and do it elsewhere. And I want to continue to create more opportunities for other team members. And that's really kind of where it all started.
So one of the things I want to ask you just a little bit more specifically at that point is, as you started that journey of expanding from a single location and making those tweaks, Clint touched on this, that was a big part of what we did at Weave. Was at Weave, we were very intentional about what the things that we did inside of the company to drive culture. So at what point did you recognize the need to put effort and energy and strategy towards the culture? Why did it even matter to you? And what did that point look like when you started to make an emphasis of it?
Yep. Well, I really screwed it up initially, by the way. From like 07, 08, 09, 2010, I was like, well, I can just sort of do this on my own. Like, I'll drive the train forward. They'll jump on my back and we'll just go. And you realize real quick that, like, that's sort of ego driving the way instead of like building team around you. And so, I kind of started to bang my head against a wall, in 2010, 11, 12, going, I'm not going as quick, or we're not growing as much as maybe I feel like we could. And I realized I was the big damn bottleneck. Like, I was the damn problem. And so, for me, I had to go sort of look for the next thing, which to me was like, I need to work with somebody to learn how to sort of drop that ego, build team, coach team. And so in 2013, I started working with Jay Geyer and the Scheduling Institute, which is now the Practice Growth Institute, but working with them and the people that were surrounded by him and their team members, I realized quickly I was the problem. I was the bottleneck. I had to get better. And, so I set a goal and I said, look, I want to grow a group, but I'm going to triple my practice before I acquire my second practice. And so that was in 2013, 2014. And by 2017, 2018, we had tripled the practice. And by 2019, I was ready to acquire my second practice. And, but I wanted to build that foundation. Like, I wanted to make sure that, I was thinking correctly as much as I was, doing clinical work, because the clinical work was fine, but I needed to get my mind in the right mindset. I needed to make sure I had a team built up around me that understood, with full clarity what the vision was. And I needed to get them built up just as much as I needed to get myself built up. And so that was really kind of the journey that we set out upon. And, it was a lot of work, but I had to realize that I was the damn problem.
And now the core values of Vision Dental are action, correct me if I'm wrong, action, will to win, bring the fire, and close the gap.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about those. Walk us through those and how that's given you this competitive advantage to get to where you are.
Yeah. Again, I think those came about because of things that we weren't doing as well as I would have liked. And that started to come to fruition through doing a deal that didn't work out very well and having to think about, why did that not work as well? What were the red flags that I missed? What am I looking for in a partner? And when we really started to break down exactly what we're looking for, these were the things that stood out in our team members and our partner doctors. When you talk about action, I'm just not a big lip service guy. I like to talk, but I think there's a lot of folks, and I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but there's a lot of folks in the dental space that talk a big game, but I'm all about action, right? Like, let's back up what we're going to say and let's go do it. Number two, will to win. I grew up in the Michael Jordan era, the Tiger Woods era. Like, there's no greater substitute than a W. It doesn't mean we always win. It doesn't mean we're not just trying to net win. Like, Tiger didn't win every time he stepped on the golf course, but God damn it, winning is fun. And I want to hang around and I want to have people that just want to win, because those are the people that are bringing me energy, and they're energizing our practices. They're energizing our company. And I think when you have that trait, like, you're somebody that just has that will to win, you make everybody around you better. You're going to get through adversity at a higher level, and you're not just going to give up at the first brick wall that you run into. And I'm looking at the brick wall behind Clint. I'm saying brick wall, but it's like, those are the people that we want to just keep driving forward no matter what. We feel like we can win at a really high level with people who just have that. You picture Kobe running across the court just fired up after winning an NBA championship. Like, all the work that goes into it that Kobe had to do to win those titles, nobody saw. They saw him fired up after winning an NBA title, but I want to go put in that work behind the scenes with our team members, and I want to help them get to the point where they're winning championships in whatever capacity that is. Bring the fire. It's a little similar to that, but it's just bring energy every day. We need that. Dentistry needs that. Dental practices need that. There's enough people out there that don't enjoy it. Our patients need that. Like, that just, if you're on day 1 as a dental assistant, or day 5 as a dental hygienist, or day 1050 as a dentist, but you're bringing energy every single day, people are going to respect you in that practice. Patients are going to like you. I just think that's a big factor. So bring some damn energy, and then close the gap. Like, it's a little more pragmatic. It's, where are you? Where do you want to go? And what's the plan and the strategy around getting there? And then just go execute. Don't talk about it. Just go do it. And I think when we really came up with these, it took a while to kind of get there, but when we paint the picture and we tell the stories behind the people that embody these, it's like we get energized, and those are the people that we want to work with every day.
I like what you said when you started out. You were about to describe them. You said, we arrived on these values because maybe we weren't in the place we needed to be at first. And I really love that concept of aspirational values, where it's not like we're not just defining where we are, like, we're defining like how we want to be. Like, this is what we're trying to aspire to. And I love how you describe that. And yeah, like, these are great values. They're all very energy based, like very forward moving based. And so I can see your bias there for pushing forward. I love the high energy. I love the energy that helps build everyone else up. I love that. This is so great.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think there's, dentistry is stressful enough, right? Like, if we're in a practice, it can become very mundane. You're doing similar things every day. Like, these are the type of people with that mindset that align with those core values that make it fun. And if it's not fun, dentistry can be really boring and incredibly mundane.
And I love that you mentioned that winning is fun, right? As I reflect back on the times at Weave when we were winning and the times at Weave when we were losing, the problems we had or the brick walls that we had to break through when we were winning were way more fun to break through than when we were, than the hard times. And yeah, it takes that resilience, like you're saying. You're going to have to go through both, but it's way more fun to solve problems that are caused by winning than those when you're just not getting the effort and things that you need out of your team to be successful. So
100%. But I think you hit a great point, Jake. Like, you're not always going to win. But when you have good culture, you can overcome the times that you're not. You lose momentum for any reason for 2 months. Culture will help bring you back. Yeah. And, you can build just as much culture by winning as you can by losing, right? I don't remember who it was that said, Bobby Knight, of course, had some great quotes around, like, look, I can coach just as much after a win as I can a lot. Like, we can win just as much by winning as we can by losing. So we're going to do both, but at the end of the day, like culture better be there whether you're winning or losing, because it can get a little out of whack because of either one.
Yeah, I love that. Especially like we always looked at it. If things are going well, you could get away with terrible culture. Like we've seen it in tons of companies, like big software companies. Sales are going well, but internally it's just a disaster. And it works because they're growing, but then as soon as they hit adversity, that's when things get terrible. And so we always looked at culture as like, oh, this is especially for when times get hard. And it made all the difference. Like, because when we made a bad decision as an executive team or went in the wrong direction or sales started going a little bit slower for whatever reason, the company would band together because we all, loved working together. We all valued the same things. We had this energy of, people first energy that we had. And that's when it made the difference, is when things went wrong, when we weren't winning. So I love that.
Important.
Let's talk about this now. So how have you seen culture become a catalyst for disruption? How has it gotten you through those hard times and allowed you to scale to where you are today?
Yeah, I think I go back to, I would say really two things. One would be, when I had done a deal, and I'll go back to this deal that didn't work out very well, because I think that was an important turning point in our company. Like to that point, things had gone pretty well. We hadn't faced like major walls that we had to run through. It was a lot of fires we had to put out like everybody every day, but we did a deal in Atlanta. It was a small 4-practice group that had been struggling, and I had a 20% rollover partner in that deal, who just wasn't aligned with the company, and it stressed us to the max for 2 years, to the point where I was putting a lot of cash into those practices to get them going. It was a lot of money in recruiting, marketing, all the things. We didn't have any leadership from our partner doctor in those practices. It literally stressed us in every capacity, but at the same time, it's also what brought us closer. And when I made the decision that we were going to exit from those 4 practices and sell them, the relief on my management team members' faces was just like, I had to look myself in the mirror and go, shit, I should have done this 6 months ago, and again, like my bad. But it really was like, we built so much good culture through that, because we had to band together so much to get through the transition, to sell those practices off, to deal with a partner who just wanted to play golf instead of provide leadership and practice dentistry. It stressed every system that we have in our company, and it's made us 100 times better because of it. It's brought us 100 times closer because of it. It has made us so vigilant on exactly the type of partner doctors that we want, type team members that we want. Wow. The practices that we go look to acquire now. I'm not just out there trying to go buy EBITDA. I'm not just out there. I'm trying to find human beings that we want to work with, that we want to go to battle with every week. And it's narrowed that focus so much that I think it's a really big advantage for us, because I've screwed it up. Now it's somebody else's turn to go screw it up and learn that same lesson. But we've done it. So now it's on to the next thing, right? But it really brought our team together. And
refined like your processes, right? Like
everything.
You've narrowed your focus so much more. And I love that you mentioned, chasing EBITDA or whatever, which are kind of the traditional things that the world or the industry would tell you to base your decisions off of.
Yep.
And per the books, these things may have looked great for those locations, or other people that are looking to acquire something right now, per the books it might be, but you just see the linchpin that is culture, that if those other pieces aren't in, that critical piece is not in place, good luck with the rest of it, right? I love that strategy shift of ultimately, from what I'm hearing, putting culture as the first decision that's made, and then everything else is after that.
Every system was stressed. We were like a 787 being tested at Boeing, and like we were knocking wings off left and right, man, just to see how far we could go. It was, but at the end of the day, it built so much trust in my management team, because like we didn't have a choice, but at the end of the day, despite the fact that I knew the value wasn't going to be there and I'd put so much money into it, I was going to lose some money when we exited with those practices. You've got to put people first. You can only stress your systems and your people so long until something breaks. And we learned a lot from it, and it's made us significantly better.
Right.
I love it.
So many parallels, even in the tech world. You're right. We felt very similar things, even though they're different business models, different industries, so to speak. There's a lot of parallels here.
Well, like getting crappy executives and that come in that are like old school and like question all this new culture stuff, and you're like, it makes you revisit all of it. You're like, am I doing it right? Like doing all this research and finding out, yeah, we are doing it right. This guy just sucks.
There's stories behind that we'll have to tell you.
I love stories. I mentioned that there were two things, and I think the other thing that culture builds, dentistry is becoming wildly commoditized, right? Like it's everybody's trying to drive patients with Google click ads, or they're trying to or everybody's racing to the bottom with price, right? Like, oh, I can make mine a little cheaper. I'll get a patient in because my crowns are less, or my cleanings, which you can only race to the bottom so far until there's no more margin, because team members kind of cost a hell of a lot nowadays. And so you have to build brand. You have to be the damn brand that every person in your community thinks of first. I need to go to the dentist. Hughes. I need to go do this. Hughes. I need my teeth cleaned. Hughes. And if I'm not that person, they're going to go find that person who is cheaper, who is whatever. So I've got to build massive brand. You cannot do that if your culture is not on point. You just cannot do it if your culture is not on point. And so I die on that hill.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. And would you say is that a lot of like the branding is like, if you don't have a good culture, there's going to be times maybe when the patient experience suffers, and so is all those little things that add up to make this brand that make people want to think of you? Because why does culture affect it? Like if someone's just looking for a cheaper dentist, why would they pick you over the cheaper dentist?
What you just said, Clint. It's experience. How do they feel when they walk in my office? Do they know how much I really actually care about them? Do they know how well my team is trained? Do they know how good my team is on the phone when they call, by the way? And they have a relational conversation. And by the way, we answered within 3 rings, which, how many, you guys know from Weave, how many people are not doing that?
Data on that one for sure.
Yeah. How many offices have a 28% missed call rate?
Yep.
Ours is going to be under 5%. So we're going to answer quickly. We're going to have somebody answering the phone who's going to match your tone, but they're still going to be upbeat, and they're going to get you scheduled in a time that's going to be convenient and frictionless and all the things. And then when you come in, you're going to feel that same way. And it's like, if that costs $80 more, I'm there for it. And there are a lot of patients out there that feel that same way, and I'd rather build on that than I would just, we're $80 cheaper, so you'll come see us. And yeah, that just doesn't work very well.
That resonates with me so much, because coming from the sales side, it's so much more enjoyable to build a business that's based around value and providing something great than it is just being the cheapest solution out there. So it's way more energizing to be a part of something. And it's not something that can just be built overnight, right? Like all these things, it was I can already see through those examples that you gave, it was identifying those core values, getting your team and decision makers bought in around those, and then identifying every part of your patient journey of how you can reflect those values in the experience that your patient, and they're going to feel it, and they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to tell their friends, and you're just going to be so much more successful because of that than the experience of just chasing the cheapest option.
100%. And that's in any business, right? Whether it's, that could be literally anything. And then the hard part in that is then taking those experiences that I had in 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, as we're as we're really building all of that foundation out and now training younger doctors on the same thing to get them to learn that and understand it faster. Because it probably just took me too long to really understand that. And so I've got to get them going quicker than it took me.
Love it.
So cool. So cool.
So what advice would you give to like a new emerging DSO that's hearing you say this, and maybe they don't know, they're just starting, they don't have cultural values, they don't have any of this. What advice would you give to a new emerging DSO if they want to do what you're doing?
That's a big, broad question. I love it.
It is.
So, number one is get really damn clear on who you are, because depending on we have 9 locations. It doesn't mean that all 9 locations are exactly the same. There's nuance to every location, right? We have different doctors there, we have different teams, they're in different communities. There's nuance to each one, but every practice should kind of feel the same because we're sort of recruiting similar, like-minded type of people, right? And get really damn clear on what you're trying to build, because what you don't want to do is go to 17 dental meetings and listen to what the people on stage are telling you that they're doing, or how they built it, or what their thoughts are on culture, or what their thoughts are on how their team members should be. You need to know what your thoughts are and what you want, because that's the only way that when it does get tough, you're going to band together, because you know exactly why each one of you is there. And I don't think there's anything more important than that, because that's really the foundation, is understanding who the hell are you?
I love that. They always say, like in software startups, that when you're very get going, the culture is really just the founders establish the culture. It's not really documented. It's just how they are as people. And then as you start to grow, you need to be able to communicate that culture more. And so you put it down in words. But what you said just resonated with me deeply, because it was like, who do you want to be, right? Who do you want to be as the leader? What do you want to build? How do you want this to be? That if you don't know, then that's what you do need to figure out first. And that makes so much sense to me.
Well, because I hear it all the time. Somebody will reach out and they're like, hey, I was at Dykema and I heard that Heartland does things this way. And I'm like, dude, Heartland is a $2 billion company. Yeah. You might want to, that may not be the best for you, and it's I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh my God, like, let's just, what do you want to do? And sometimes it's a 5-minute conversation. They're like, well, this is what I really think. I'm like, is that what your gut's telling you? Yes. Great. Do that.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong in 3 weeks, just change it. Yep. And nobody will care.
Yep.
I love
and
it.
Once you hit it, it'll resonate and you'll be rocking.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, Dr. Hughes, this has been amazing. Everything that I had hoped it would be, because as we've gone through this, all that alignment that I thought would come from our experience and what you're doing is just amazing. So I want to just finish. We're going to go rapid fire. We got some fun questions to close out, and then we'll let you go. So
cool.
You don't have to answer fast, but if you want to, you can. So first one is just for one non-negotiable value for you.
Non-negotiable value for me.
You got your 4 already, but just one that this one can't go without.
God, I like you say that, I had like 27 words pop through my mind. I probably need to. I think probably the one non-negotiable would be trust. I think that there needs to be an element of trust. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be like, the same level of trust that you have with a spouse or a best friend. But you need to have a trust that somebody's showing up. If I'm going to interject time, energy, and money into somebody, I just want to trust that when they're on their own, no different than a professional athlete or like they're going to put time in to get better.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm so willing to invest so much into people because that's the absolute best part of my job. But I just want to trust that they're going to reciprocate that with a little bit of their own work on their own.
Awesome.
Love it.
Okay. What disruption do you hope to lead or see in the industry in the next 5 years?
Yeah. Really probably we'll say 2 things. I think number one, think there needs to be more personal brand building in the dental space. I think there's some amazing people out there who need to tell their story, and they need to get it out into the dental world. I think that's one of the reasons things get a little commoditized, is that like we need some personality in the dental space, right? Like it's not just all go to continuing education and learn how to do a better damn root canal. Like, I'm sorry, but like that doesn't excite me at all. Like I want to learn about people. I want to hear their stories. I want to hear what they've screwed up, what they've won, how they've lost, what they've like, and everything in between. And I think a little more personal brand. So I'm gonna really try to lead the way from that front. And two, brand building. Like let's not continue this race to the bottom. Let's not continue this commoditization that's going on. We don't have to do this. We need to build significantly more brand in the dental space, and I think more people need to get into that mindset. And I'm here for it. I'll lead the way if need be.
So cool.
Love it.
Been awesome. Dr. Hughes, thank you so much. Finish us off. If anyone wants to connect with you or learn more about what's going on at Vision Dental Partners, how could people do that?
Yeah, three good ways. You can go to visiondentalpartners.com, go to contact us or connect with us and fill out some forms on there. I'm the one who checks all of that because I just enjoy the communication there. Number two, LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there all the time. Like, shoot me a message. I love connecting with peeps on there. Or three, just shoot me an email at bdhughesdds@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been an amazing episode. And tune in next week for another one. It's been great to have you, Dr. Hughes. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.